Hi everyone and welcome to KRYPTALK, that Irish guy that talks about Bitcoin. In today's episode, I'm going to be outlining the different reasons why you should buy Bitcoin right now and why it's a good investment. We'll also be taking a look at the latest price action and news and the massive news, the massive prediction that's come out during the week. So if that sounds good to you, just stick around. This is episode number 6, and the title of this episode is 5 Reasons Why You Should Buy Bitcoin Right Now. But before we get into it, a quick look at the charts. Okay folks, this is the Coinbase chart and Bitcoin is trading at $9,141. This is the daily chart, so all of these candles you see here, these green and red candles, they represent 1 day of trading each. The last video we were talking about this green ascending triangle, and it actually broke out of this triangle downwards. So just a quick look at what I said in my last video part here, but you can see there for the last few days there, over a week, we've been trading underneath this red part. It did push up on Monday night and drop back down again, so possibly a sign that a correction is due. Now, while I did call the dip at its lowest point, Bitcoin only dropped down 6%. 6% in Bitcoin is nothing. So to anybody out there on Twitter who's saying Bitcoin is dead,
catch your cell phone.
So what happens now that Bitcoin has broken out of this ascending triangle? So how you calculate the target is it's based on the height of the triangle. So if I just clone the height there and then add it to the point of the breakout, then you're looking at a target, because it broke down here, at a target around 7,100. So that's one possibility. Another possibility is that Bitcoin bounces down around this, what's called a descending channel. So how this is formed, these are two parallel lines and they're obviously trending downwards. So if you look here, Bitcoin had a point of contact here, and another point of contact here, and then in the bottom of the channel, the bottom line, it had a point of contact here, here, and here, and another one here, actually 4 points. So it's possible, because Bitcoin is putting in lower lows here, that we're in for a kind of further correction. A third possibility is unfortunately what it's been doing for the last 2 months and being very boring and trading sideways. Having a quick look at the Bollinger Bands here, you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. It spent the last week 7 days underneath the midpoint of the Bollinger Bands, and when that's happened, when you're actually underneath, it's signs that Bitcoin tends to be trading downwards. So what I think is actually going to happen is over the next few weeks, we're going to have maybe some slow corrections to the downside before eventually coming back to the upside. That's it for the charts for today. So that brings us to the main focus of this episode. 5 reasons why you should buy Bitcoin. So this is a bullish episode. In the next episode, I'm going to do the exact opposite. This is part 1 of a 2-part series. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to provide you 5 reasons or facts why you should invest in Bitcoin. I have removed emotion, opinion, and feeling from the equation, and this is all based on research that I've carried out myself.
I read about it in a book.
With that being said, you should always do your own research. Don't take my word for it. I'm not an economist. I'm not a financial advisor. This is just a hobby. So always do your own research. Let's get started. Number 1, Bitcoin has always surpassed its all-time highs after a price crash. That's just what it does. It pumps up to these massive high all-time highs, then it crashes and drops down again, and it's pronounced dead.
You're supposed to be dead.
Sorry to disappoint.
In fact, Bitcoin has been pronounced dead over 350 times by the media. I outlined this in episode 1. There should be a link appearing there somewhere. But it always bounces back. Every time except once. So if Bitcoin continues to do what it's always done and surpasses its current all-time high of $20,000, you're looking at a Bitcoin worth over $20,000.
I'm back!
Number 2. The yearly lows are increasing. So forget about the massive headline grabbing all-time highs and peaks. Even the lows are increasing from year to year. So from year to year, Bitcoin is putting in higher lows. This becomes even more obvious when you take a look at the charts, because we can clearly see that Bitcoin is putting in higher lows every year. Now, although you'd have to be very lucky to buy on the exact day of the year when Bitcoin hit its yearly low, it's still a compelling argument for Bitcoin hodling, as we discussed in the last episode. Scarcity, scarcity, scarcity. There will only ever be 21 million Bitcoins. 18.5 million have been mined already. 2.5 million have yet to be mined. And out of the 18.5 million that have been mined, About 20% are estimated to have been lost forever because of people losing their passwords and login details. Let's take a quick look at just how scarce it is. So the total supply of Bitcoin is 21 million. For the purpose of this calculation, I'm going to assume that they've all been mined and none have been lost. Total population of the world is 7.8 billion people. If we divide the total number of Bitcoins by the total population of the world, you get 0.0027 Bitcoin per person. This calculation works on the assumption that the 21 million Bitcoins are divided evenly between the 7.8 billion people in the world, which of course is unrealistic due to inequality. But if that was the case, there still wouldn't be enough for every person in the world to own an entire Bitcoin. Another way of looking at this is to assume that the 21 million Bitcoins are owned by 21 million different people. When you divide that by the number of people in the world and multiply by 100 over 1, you end up getting 0.27%, meaning that it's only possible for 0.27% of the world to own a full Bitcoin. This makes Bitcoin an extremely scarce asset. Number 4, smart money is investing. That means money is being invested by people with expert knowledge. People like Paul Tudor Jones, Mike Novogratz, Tim Draper, Mark Cuban, and Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, who's a famous Bitcoin bull and worth an estimated $6 billion. He just won't tell us. So the smart money is investing while at the same time whales or people that own 1,000 Bitcoin or more are taking their Bitcoin off the exchanges and putting them into cold storage wallet like the Ledger Nano S. Whoa. Sounds like a perfect storm. Number 5, Bitcoin adoption is growing globally. More people than ever before know what Bitcoin is. It's never been as easy to buy it. More retailers are accepting it. Institutions are interested and buying. Smart money is buying. Whales are hodling. And the number of Bitcoin wallets holding non-zero, 0.01, 0.1, 1 and 10 Bitcoins are at all-time highs. And this is in a background where the Bitcoin price is only half the all-time high. So before I do the news for this episode, I just want to say a massive thank you to anybody who's liked or watched the videos or subscribed to the channel so far. It's really helped me grow the channel. My original goal was to have 100 subscribers by September 1st. I currently have 83, so I'm really happy about that. So if you've got any sort of value from this video or any of the other videos and you haven't subscribed so far, maybe you consider just click on the subscription button and help me to grow the channel. Now the news for today, I'm going to do the news for today a bit differently. Normally I like to give some bullish and bearish news to get some sort of perspective, but today, given the nature of this episode that it's 5 reasons why you should buy Bitcoin and why it's a very bullish episode, I'm only going to do 3 bullish articles. In the next episode I'll do the exact opposite. So let's do the news. The first bullish article for today is by Cointelegraph and the headline reads, Bullish case for Bitcoin grows as Bitcoin whale population tops 3-year high. Remember what happened 3 years ago? The all-time Bitcoin high happened 3 years ago. So recently published data from Glassnode shows that there are currently more than 1,800 Bitcoin whales. From a macro perspective, this increase in the number of whales can be considered bullish. More individuals holding 1,000 Bitcoin or more is always going to be bullish. The mean Bitcoin balance held by each whale is actually decreasing slightly. In other words, individual whales are not on average getting richer, but there are more of them. So there's more people with accumulating 1,000 Bitcoin or more. This next part seems familiar because we've seen similar statements over the last few months. The movement of funds from exchanges to personal wallets might indicate declining appetite to sell or trade short term because whales are taking their Bitcoin off exchanges and putting them onto the cold storage wallets. That's nothing new. And finally, the article basically goes on to explain that in mid-March when the crash happened, there was massive movement of people not only whales buying, but also getting their coins off the exchange and putting them into cold storage wallet. This could be like them preparing for the next bull run. The second piece of bullish news for today is by Cointelegraph and the headline reads, Bitcoin set for 288,000 bull run in 2020, popular Bitcoin price model says. So the latest update of Bitcoin's stock to flow price model shows July is beginning exactly as required for the long-term bullish trajectory to continue. So the reason he's saying this is because Bitcoin has printed or added its second dot on this model. So the Bitcoin stock to flow cross asset model uses color coded dots to analyze Bitcoin's price action relative to the date of its next block reward halving. So dots immediately after the halving, like now or like present, are red and historically precede a jump in Bitcoin price, which Plan B often refers to as by an order of magnitude. So what it's saying then is between now and 2024, when the next halving is, that the model focuses on a price of 288,000 for Bitcoin to US dollars, with the potential for much higher peaks. So this is the stock to flow model itself. So he's saying that, Bitcoin has just printed its second red dot and it's on track to this massive bull run that he used this model to predict. The third and final bullish piece of news for today is by Forbes, and it ties in very nicely not only to today's episode but to point number 5, because it's all about Bitcoin adoption worldwide. So the headline reads, "Bitcoin is not dead, get yours at your local post office." On June 24th, Australia Post announced that Bitcoin will be available for purchase at all postal service outlets. So that's good news if you happen to be watching this from Australia. So in partnership with bitcoin.com.au, customers will be able to purchase Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies at the 3,500 locations using the Post Bill Pay feature. Other established businesses worldwide that accept Bitcoin include AT&T, Overstock, Expedia, Baidu, Subway, PayPal and Shopify. PayPal's not necessarily, I think that is pending. We looked at it in the last episode, so that's not correct yet. One Bitcoin ATM provider, Liberty X, announced last week that it will expand its network to 25,000 locations across the US in 7-Eleven, CVS and Rite Aid locations. So you'll be able to buy Bitcoin at 7-Eleven. There's 25,000 locations. Okay everyone, that's the end of this video. So if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe. And as usual, Sláinte. Bye 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 bye.